Welcome back. We're in touch with Malky Mackay, the man who's taken Cardiff City to the promised land of the Premier League. And it is, I mean, fans, players, yourself, I mean, there's just that sense of anticipation about what's coming up next season. We talked about the players who might be disappearing from the Cardiff City Stadium. What about those who might appear? I mean, do you want to share? You're amongst friends here.
Well, we've had a recruitment department that we brought together 2 years ago. My head of recruitment, Ian Moody, is someone that I trust implicitly, and we brought him in to build a new department with a chief scout and scouts throughout Britain. We didn't have the finances to then send that abroad, but obviously come January, when you were looking at it and were thinking there's a chance that we could be promoted here, we started quietly getting into that sort of line and having a parallel recruitment policy in terms of what would be Championship for next year, what would be Premiership. So we've started down that line, and we're sending guys to games, you know, far and wide at the moment, and it's ongoing. There's no any specific targets right now. We've got people that we're looking at in areas of the pitch we're looking at. There's not any particular number that we would go for, and right now there's not any particular player. There's an area that we know we need to develop. And we know that we need to bring in players to add to the group we've got. You know, there's no doubt that if we go and get someone, they have to be to the standard that's going to fit in here, but going to be technically able to play in the Premier League as well. So I'm certainly aware that we need to improve again. We need to up the ante again, because it is going into a challenging division. But at the same time, the players have to come in and buy into the ethos that this group of players have got.
And this group of players do very much work for each other. And I guess sometimes as a manager, you've also got to make sure then that anybody who you bring in will gel with that. You don't want anything upsetting that particular apple cart, albeit sometimes I suppose it can be a galvanising influence, can't it? Very
much so. And they have to come in and buy into what we've got going on here. I mean, I've got some real good players here, but I've got some big personalities as well. And you know, everyone talks about Craig Bellamy and has he caused you this, has he caused you? Craig Bellamy has been a fantastic pro since the minute he walked in the door to the last day of the season. He set standards. We had a good conversation at the very start about my expectations and what he can expect from me. And he's certainly galvanised things. He's in a different role now. He's someone that probably has been in a dog-eat-dog world his whole career in terms of the clubs he's been at. Slightly different at this club, because there's times where he's going to have to put his arm around a younger player. He's never had to do that before. And that's brought out a different side to him. And I think what I've seen this year is not an individual. I've seen a real team player this year. So, and we've got 2 or 3 others in the dressing room that are really experienced, good men, real good foot soldiers who will continue that vein of the football club and make sure people come in and have to buy into that.
Can you see yourself keeping the majority of the squad you've got now? I mean, are they capable of the next level, the majority of the squad you've got now, or can you see it maybe halving?
No, I think most of them can actually stand up in this next division. Technically, the team have been getting better and better over the 2 years. Right now, they have to be technically good enough on the ball for me to have them with my first team squad, training with my first team squad. The standards in the 2 years has risen in training every day. I can see that every day. And there'll be some there'll not be enough football for them and they'll leave. But invariably there's a good core of there that are going to be involved in the Premiership next season.
Looking ahead to that, I mean, it's brilliant, and we're all basking in the reflected glory of this at this point in time and celebrating. But you're a practical man. Getting to the Premiership is the first stage of it. Staying in the Premiership is the second part of it, isn't it? I mean, you look at 2 examples this season, QPR and Reading. QPR spent big, Reading haven't. They're both going down. There's not a hard and fast blueprint for this. I mean, do you derive lessons from that? Do you think, well, I know what not to do and what to do? I mean, have you been scrutinising that?
Yeah, I've spoken to 4 or 5 managers already, and I've certainly got another 4 or 5 to go. But I think stability is the key to start with, which is not something that's been there at QPR. And I think there was stability at Reading in terms of Brian, but I really don't think he was given the tools. He wasn't given the funds to actually to improve his squad enough to keep his team in there. I think there's a balance in between that there. There has to be a stability and a structure to the football club, and a way of thinking that's planned and is sensible. And then that has to be given the money to be able to go and recruit properly, to go and attack the Premier League like the likes of Norwich and Swansea have done in the last couple of years, to be able to stay in there, because that's really what it's all about. It's about getting 17th place, and make no mistake about that. You look at who's down there right now: Aston Villa, Newcastle, Sunderland, are right down there at the Wigan at the moment. But clubs that have been in that division for years and have had a lot of money through their football clubs, so it's about staying in that division. But it's not about getting up there and having a one season and making up the numbers and everybody enjoying one season playing against Man U and Arsenal. It's about myself and my team of staff being practical and focusing on what is going to keep us in that division, what is going to get us to 40 points as quickly as possible, and be competitive and make sure that we go there and we're not in there for a party to make up numbers. We're going to go in there and make sure that we give everything we've got to stay there and make sure Cardiff becomes a Premiership club.
I guess your chairman wouldn't stand for that, for you guys being one season wonders. You know, as we've seen with Brian McDermott, you've mentioned him. Obviously, Nigel Adkins at Southampton is with Reading now. Pretty ruthlessly sacked, which means, I guess, from a manager's point of view, you know, you can't just sit back now and say, right, I've taken Cardiff to the Premier League. I'm all right, I'm sitting pretty. I mean, is that at the back of your mind? Because at the end of the day, you work for a businessman, don't you?
Very much so. My eyes are wide open as to how precarious my job is, and how off the back of 4 weeks and 4 results and 4 radio phone-ins and some chat forums, pressure builds on an owner, for an owner to decide, no, we're going to have a change of plan here, a change of man even. You look at the last couple of years, managers have been sacked for being in playoff positions, for being at club for 20 days and 40 days. The last 2 you talked about, 2 managers who really transformed Southampton and Reading in the last couple of years. Neil Warnock, who did very well at QPR and then quickly was ousted for a bigger name. So, you know, I'm under no illusions. In the Championship, 11 of 24 clubs are foreign owned now, because it's seen as a fast-track way to, or a cheaper way of getting to the Premier League with a club. And that brings its own challenges in terms of managing the expectations of people that aren't from the local area, not local businessmen, people that expect something and sometimes don't understand the division. I have to say, my own owner, from the start of the season, where he really went hands-on, you know, he's been the owner for 4 years, as you know, but he really went hands-on from the start of the season. The questions he was asking at the start of the season are very, very different from the questions he's asking now, because he realises that bottom can beat top on any day of the week now, and every week when he looks at the results with me after the game, and he's looking at, you know, a result that's nothing to do with us, and is surprised all of a sudden. Well, he's not surprised anymore, and he realises the ferocity and the nature of this division. So he's learning, and he's someone that's picking that up. But I work for a businessman. I work for someone who expected and got results, and now there'll be expectations in the Premier League. It's about managing those expectations as far as I'm concerned, but my eyes are wide open to my challenge and also to what might happen.
We're running out of time. I mean, I could sit here and talk to you for an hour. Talking about the expectations, one of the huge ones as far as the fans are going to be concerned is that big derby with Swansea next season, which must be something you must be looking forward to. And, you know, you've been here for a while now. There's a connection with Wales. I mean, you know, is there a sense of relish with all that? Very much so. I mean, we've been here for 2 years now, and I asked staff to follow me down here, and unflinchingly they did. And there's not one of them I've got anything but good things to say about living in the area, the city. It's a real good place. The passionate people, the Welsh, and very like the Scots, I think. But it's a nice city, a nice place to live, which is a benefit, because obviously it's the football club and football I'm here for. But we live in a nice place, and we're you know, there's a lot of good talk. And all year people are coming up and nervously wanting to give my best wishes to the team. Now it's about wanting to talk about the game against Swansea. You know, I think, to be fair, that's been a quiet conversation for the last 2 years. They've been doing their thing very well, and we've been a new club rebuilding, really. I was very friendly with Brendan Rodgers, and this season, you know, the Swansea Carling Cup thing has been thrown up as well. So I think that the fact that they've been desperately hoping for a derby at the top level forever, and the people of South Wales have finally got that. It's going to be an entertaining occasion. Oh, isn't it just? Talking about entertaining occasions, we've literally got a couple of seconds. Obviously, the match against Hull, you'd like to beat Hull, not just for yourselves, but for your old team as well, wouldn't you?
I'm an ex-Watford manager, I suppose, and it's amazing what's happened in terms of those two clubs taking it right down to the last day. We've got to be respectful to the league, and we will be. We'll be making sure we get there and giving it everything we've got on Saturday to make sure that it purely comes down to who's got most points.
We wish you the very best of luck with that, and congratulations. It's been a delight, Malky. Thank you very much indeed. Just to let you know, much more on Cardiff City's amazing achievement in a special programme on ITV Cymru Wales on Monday night. That's at 8 o'clock. In Touch is back on May the 30th. We'll see you then. Bye for now.